Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I want to mention real quick that I'm going to be on with Josh Reed tonight on the Red Pill Project, so don't miss it there. Josh and I always have a great conversation and lots of fun, and it's a great crowd there at Red Pill Project, so make sure you tune in tonight. I will be on there, I think about 7 o'clock Mountain Time, so hop on and check it out. That's the Red Pill Project. Now we have Bob Greska joining us, and Bob Greska is an aerospace materials engineer that changed career paths from building spacecraft to health and human performance. He is the CEO and founder of Greska C60, which is an incredible supplement based on carbon, and that's the essence of life. Bob Greska, welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio.
Hey, Tammy, glad to be here. Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've missed you.
I missed you too. It's been a while. I took a little sabbatical or time off or whatever. So building a house, and it takes a lot of energy and effort and a lot of stress.
Absolutely. But I am so glad you're back. And so we have like a lot of new audience members. So I want to start from the very beginning. Not everybody has heard about Carbon 60. Actually, last night, I did a weekly wellness workshop and we were talking about detox. And of course, I started talking about Carbon 60. And I was kind of surprised that a lot of people on the call didn't know about Greska C60. So this is a great opportunity. Many of them are tuning in today to learn about it. So tell me, what is Greska's C60?
Well, C60, the C stands for carbon, which is a natural element that's found in everybody's body. We're made out of about 20% carbon. All the animals, the beef we eat, the chicken we eat, they're all carbon-based. All the foods, the plants, the vegetables, they're all carbon-based. So everything we eat, so it's not a foreign product to your body. But the difference is that the carbon 60, the C60, that's why it stands for carbon 60. It's a molecule that looks like a soccer ball here, made out of pentagons and hexagons, and it forms a sphere. And these little black dots represent the atoms that form the molecule. And being spherical in nature, like it is, it's structurally strong, so it can give up an electron, or several electrons without collapsing. And that's the beauty of the carbon 60 molecule, how small it is. It's like an antioxidant you get in food, except this is 200,000 times smaller in size. So it's much more bioavailable. It travels through your body a lot better, gets around, gets into those places where you have cellular problems that the cells are not working very well because they have free radicals and toxins. Toxins cause free radicals. Your regular metabolism of turning your food product into ATP, which is the energy currency for the body, that also causes free radicals. But your body gets older and it can't get rid of the free radicals as good as it used to. So carbon 60 comes in a bottle, and it's a dropper, it's a tincture. It's a very black liquid, I must tell you, but there's no taste to it. Squeeze it a couple of times. That's a serving size, about that much, and you just put it in your mouth. There's no taste. It's clean carbon, and your muscles feel better. Your body feels better. You turn those cells on that have not been working properly.
Okay, so let's put it into context for people too. What kinds of things do people use Carbon 60 for and get results with?
Well, for instance, we have a topical mist. This is a spray on, and you just mist it. And you can see the spray coming out. And basically, you mist that on over muscle pain, joint pain, and so forth. And the carbon molecules are so small, they do penetrate in through the skin. And the water vaporizes, dries off. So you're left with the carbon going into the skin. So people with joint pain, muscle pain, they use a spray. People take it orally for most all health issues are caused by free radicals. So if you give an electron to that free radical, stabilize it, most health issues go away. And I know that's a big claim, but it's true. We see results with it all the time. They call in frequently and tell us, well, I've tried it for this, I've tried it for that. And they see results and it's cheaper than a doctor's visit or buying a pharmaceutical drug at the store. So it's well worth it.
how does it work with detox? So I like it when you explain kind of, compare it to charcoal. I know it's way better than charcoal, but I think it helps people understand that. So how does it work
Sure.
with detox?
Well, you have like a car wash sponge. Okay, this will absorb water when you put it in water. And activated charcoal which has been activated, and the activation process is actually making more surface area by blowing holes through it with steam. So you take charcoal and you subject it to steam, and it puts holes through it, makes it like Swiss cheese, so you get more surface area, and that will adsorb a toxin. And the adsorption process is like the toxin is positively charged, so it sticks to the carbon activated charcoal, and it carries it out of your body. And carbon 60 works a little bit differently, but in the same way. Similarly, it has to do with that static charge, but it gives an electron to the carbon 60 molecule, to the toxin. And the toxin, it neutralizes the toxin so it can't do any damage. And the damage toxins do is they steal electrons. So if you give them an electron, they can't steal them. So that's how carbon 60 works as a detox. And since there's no more charge or affinity around, or there's no reason for that toxin to stay around because now it's neutralized, it doesn't have any stick, and it was a positive minus attraction, so it just passes through your body.
So you just keep your detox pathways open, right? And if you're taking your carbon 60, there's no, I always like, it's kind of like a lock and a key type of situation, right? If there's already a key in the lock, then it can't attach. Is that correct?
Well, yes. If it's secured, in other words, you give it an electron, it fills that spot that's empty, and then it can't steal an electron. So that's basically how a toxin works. Toxins are electron stealers that come into your body. So you give it an electron with the carbon 60 molecule, which is a very unique molecule. This has been discovered in 1985, Nobel Prize in 1996. And just at the turn of the century, 2000, they started to use it and test it and do things with it. 2012, I was the sole person who developed a process to produce carbon 60 clean. We're the only ones that produce it clean. We don't have any solvents. We don't have any contaminants in it. I'm a carbon NASA aerospace engineer, so I've got a background in doing science. I've been in science all my life. So
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit because there are other. For me, I had seen some purple ones, and I learned that there's a process to getting carbon to the purest point. So talk a little bit about that. Why is your carbon black?
well, all carbon is black. It truly is. There's other products that have carbon 60, but they use a solvent extraction process, and they use mainly toluene, which is a paint thinner. It's a gasoline solvent. It gives you better octane, and it's toluene. It's a hydrocarbon solvent. And when you put carbon 60, they use that to extract the carbon 60 out of soot. And when they do that, what happens is that the solvent will swell the carbon molecules and change the bond angles of the electrons, and it's changed the lattice structure so it reflects the light purple instead of absorbing everything and being black. When you space them apart a little bit, it'll absorb the purple or reflect the purple color. And that's why a lot of these other carbon 60s, they have a purple tint to them, or even a red tint to some of them, which is actually carbon 70. Carbon 60, when it's expanded with solvents, is actually blue, but you have some carbon 70, which is expanded, which is red. So red and blue make purple.
Oh, I don't think you've ever told me that before. That makes a lot of sense.
I don't think I have either.
I learned a new thing today. So what about safety? Can you OD on carbon 60, on Greska's carbon 60?
They tested it with laboratory mice, and there's no legal limit. There's no LD50, as they call it, or lethal dose where 50% of the subject matters die, mainly mice or rats. And so, no, there's no toxicity to Greska's carbon 60. Now, there are with these other carbon 60 because they do have trace amounts of solvents, and it's a trace amount, but it builds up after a while. It takes depends if you're heavy set, and you have a lot of fat tissue in your body, your carbon, they'll hide the toxins in your fat cells of your body, so you won't notice it very quickly. But if you're slender and thin and very low fat, people will notice that the toxins become more effective. They hurt quicker.
Okay, when we come back, everybody visit C60.com, C60.com. You can use promo code Tammy, I believe, to get a little bit of savings.
Just check on that.
We will talk dosage, and we're going to tell a lot of stories. So stay with us because you're going to want to hear this. This is Naturally Inspired Radio with Bob Greska, Greska's C60, C60.com. We'll be right back. We're talking to Bob Greska from Greska's C60. Visit C60.com. Check out their line of products. We are going to go over their line of products right now. Welcome back, Bob, to Naturally Inspired Radio. Let's go into your product line. I want to make sure everybody knows what you have to offer because it even helps horses, doesn't it?
Yes, it's good for horses. It helps with their hoofs and their foundering problems. And I just want to say, put the www in front of the C60.com and it gets you straight to our site. Otherwise, you get lost in the advertisements. So www.c60.com. But yeah, we have the foundering when the hoofs start to go bad and they have to put the horses down. That's a common problem in these high-end, high-bred horses, and they have to put them down because there's no cure to them, but Carbon 60 corrects the problem almost immediately. The hoofs start growing out normally. We have documented proof showing, and pictures are showing before and after with their horse hoofs. And it kind of works. It sounds too good to be true because it works with all health problems, because they all health problems, except for mechanical defects like broken bones or things like that, they're all caused by molecules missing electrons, free radicals. So if you get rid of the free radical, the problem goes away. And we've seen that time after time after time after time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you also have one. So you have one in water. I've used the one in water a lot, just for different things with scrapes. I load hay a lot around here. So I often get these little scratches on my arm from loading hay. I spray the C60 on it. It's gone. Like it takes like a day or two and it's totally gone. And my daughter used it on a headache where she just sprayed it. She doesn't get headaches very often, but this one particular day she had a really bad headache, and I thought, grab the Carbon 60 and try it. She sprayed it right on her temples, and within 15 minutes her headache was gone. Yeah. So, and I use it every day for detox, just a couple of and I use the one in sunflower oil because it's pure good sunflower oil. It's not, it's not oxidative and all of that stuff. So a couple of the little dropper fulls every day. And I feel like that's protecting me from toxins that I'm exposed to every day. So those are the two, but you've also made it in olive oil.
Yes, we do have an olive oil product too, Carbon 60 and olive oil. Popular perception says that all seed oils are bad. And they're not. It's just the omega-6s that are bad in the seed oils. And even olive oil has omega-6s in it. They have about 15%. And the sunflower oil we use, the omega-6 is down, actually lower. It's about half that. It's about 7.5%. So we use an omega-9 rich sunflower oil, which is a good product. But if you don't like that, if you're skeptical about seed oils, or people that are allergic to sunflower seeds, we have the olive oil product, or we have the oral water product. This is water-based, and you just spray this 5 squirts under your tongue. I got to tell you, it's you think, well, what does it taste like? It tastes cleaner than water. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but you spray it under your tongue and you say, it's very clean.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So you don't get any cleaner than that, for
No,
sure.
you can't. Well, and it detoxes you at the same time.
Right.
And you mentioned horses. We do have pet products for dogs and cats and so forth like that. This one, you just like one spray, you squirt it, it comes out as a stream, and you squirt one squirt for a cat, 5 squirts for a large dog. So it's the same
Perfect.
sunflower oil product, but it's just in a different delivery system.
And they can put that right on the food?
You can put that right on the food. Yep.
Yeah. And what about your
And
face serum?
we got the face serum right here. This is carbon 60 and squalane oil. Now, squalane is a very high-end cosmetic oil, and it's very good for your skin by itself. But with the carbon 60 in there, you get the free radical damage from the ultraviolet light from being out in the sun. And even if you take the oral product, you know, many people, and there's reports out there that you don't get sunburn. You don't need sunscreens. This protects, it's an actual sunscreen protectant. When you take it orally, it goes in through your body and comes out your skin, and it protects you. But the face serum, this is just 6 drops a day, put it on your face. And in a few days, you're going to notice your skin is so much softer, that leather feeling that you get from the ultraviolet light knocking the electrons off the molecules, making the free radicals in your skin, just restores that in just a couple of days.
Talk to me a little bit about some stories. I know that you love people. I've been at shows with you, and you know you love having conversations with people. People walk by and they say things like, oh, I've had this problem with my wrist for years. It's never going to go away. And I've seen it. I've been there. I've seen people get sprayed down a little bit with some carbon 60, and then they circle back around and say, I got to get myself some of that, because that's how powerful it is. So let's talk about some of the stories. What are your favorite stories of carbon 60? How has it helped people?
Well, pain's a big thing. If people are in pain, that's an indication that there's something wrong in your body. So if you can correct the pain, you're most likely correcting what's wrong with your body. And that's what carbon 60 does. But some of the stories, like I was at an expo a couple of weeks ago, and this one gal, she had pain, on her bottom down the side of her leg, like a sciatica. And I said, well, here, take the mist here, go take it in the ladies' room, spray it on, and bring it back. She came back out. She says, I can't believe it. My pain's gone by the time she got back, which is 5 minutes or something like that. So pain's a big issue. Talk about toxicity. You got glyphosate, Roundup, that's in all the foods that we eat now, just about. And it accumulates in your body. And I have had one gentleman, I just talked to him yesterday. That's why it came to mind. But he had severe necrosis of his leg because, we got pictures on the website too that shows before and after. And matter of fact, they're doing a special out in Boston. So he's getting on a Boston TV show. They're going to do a documentary because he was exposed to quite a bit. He worked in a flour mill. And he was exposed to quite a bit of toxicity with the glyphosate that they put on the flour. So he has a good story, and he says, carbon 60, that's what helped me. So.
Wow. What about ringing in the ears? This is a big thing that I get asked about a lot. This is a real problem for people.
There's 2 ways to go with that. You can use a topical mist, the water-based product. You can spray it behind your ear, and that works very well. People have liked that better. Or you can take the oil product, the oral product, and you can put like a few drops in your ear. And then when it wets your eardrum, sit up and then rub what's on your ear, behind your ear, and your skull behind your ear, and just rub it around. And people have reported that the ringing has stopped. I mean, I had a couple people that were stone deaf, and they got their hearing back. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you got to figure, carbon 60 attacks the inflammation. And if you have inflammation around those 3 bones in your ears that are rattling and they can't rattle anymore because everything's swollen up, you get rid of the inflammation. It makes sense. I don't know exactly how or why. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm a bit of a chemist and a materials and carbon engineer.
Yeah. What about allergies? Because we've had some really, I mean, I used it, I used it this season for me. The very first week of August around here, I get this eye thing, the itchy eyes. And I think it's, because they're cutting things down and things have been sprayed and whatnot. Every year I get a little something. And this year, I was grateful that I had Carbon 60, and you told me to snort it, and I did. I snorted it, and it helped so much because my eyes are really itchy during that time.
It'll clear sometimes. I mean, I've done it too. I've snorted it. I get congestion or something going on, or some allergies, and it doesn't feel bad or do anything. It's not like oil dripping out of your nose, but you want to snort it up there as far as you can, and like a half a serving up each nostril. And it'll go up there, and the next day you won't have any symptoms. I mean, and many people have reported that to me, and like yourself, and myself too. If I'm congested at night, I can't sleep, and I'm mouth breathing, and your mouth dries out. I'll get up and I'll snort some, take a tissue, wipe my nose, and go back to bed. And within 5 minutes, I'll be opened up. I can breathe.
Yeah. I have another story about allergies too. There's a couple that has struggled. Well, her husband had struggled with allergies with bee stings. And then there was also, he had some gut issues. So some inflammation, I think, in his gut. But he had been working on his gut through nutrition, through probiotics and whatnot. And he ended up getting a bee sting. And they were camping, and this would have been a huge problem in the past, but they used the C60 right away, and they were able to keep it under control, and it wasn't a problem.
Bee stings, hornets, wasps, brown recluse, venomous snakes like we have out here, rattlesnakes in Colorado.
Everybody visit Kreska C60, so C60.com. Make sure you use promo code Tammy. Thanks, Bob. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Tammy.